Hi. So, um, it's been a while. Um, Probably like a few years. Remember when I used to make videos? That was great. Hey guys, it's Luke Buckley, or I guess Luca Buckley now. I prefer going by Luca now. Um, I apologize for the scuffed nature of this video. I look like fucking shit right now. I do not have good lighting. I don't even have an editing software for this. I'm literally having to go raw here because the editing software on my computer, like, I can't get like a previous version of iMovie for some reason, and I do not want to pay Adobe shit, and the only other editing software I have gives you a watermark. So that's not happening. So unfortunately, and I don't know what my trailer editor is doing right now, so we're gonna have to go raw here. Um, because not at the time of this recording, but by the time this is uploaded, one of my earliest games, the first game in the Abra series. Okay, there goes another poster. Abra, the 8-year-old witch, turns 5 years old, like today, at the time of uploading this. Like, I'm honestly at a loss for words. Um, as you know, so I actually explain. I did not think it would come to this, even though there has been a bit of a drought in terms of Abra content recently, mainly due to mental illness stuff that I can't go into at the moment. I don't want to go into at the moment, and pandemic, and then a bunch of other stuff that I'm busy with. Doing cosplays, doing school, um, procrastinating. Um, accidentally become a professional Pokemon TCG player. Not really professional, but like competitive Pokemon TCG player. It's mainly that third one, procrastination. But really, though, like when I started work on Grave of the Witches, my mental health was shit. It was really bad. Apologies for the helicopter in the background, but it was bad. Like I think I went into like the grim details on Twitter posts. I'm not gonna go into it there. Just know that yes, I'm still here. I'm alive. So that's one of the reasons why Abra Grave Which is taking so long. I'm hoping to have it out by next year in October, maybe. I do have some plans for it. I'll get into that later. So yeah, um, November 18th, 2017 is when Abra, the 8-Year-Old Witch, first came out. It's so weird because I did not think it would get to this point. I mentioned, I think in a previous video of mine, I think, basically, I was working on this other game. It was like a top-down like action game, sort of like a 2D Devil May Cry, but like it was a very political game written by a 16-year-old who only discovered politics like a few weeks beforehand. In other words, fucking horrible. Like utterly like horrible, and like maybe like did not know I did not know what the heck that game was. It was such a directionless project I spent 2 years working on. And then when I dropped the only hard drive with the game files on it on the hard like wooden floor on this shelf right here actually. Um, then I lost it, and the earliest like files I have of it were extremely old. And then I tried working on it again until I realized this project was not coming together at all, and I spent way too much time on a project that was just going nowhere, and was that was very depressing. Oddly enough, last summer ended up being more depressing than that 2017 summer. It was a good thing Sonic Mania came out because that was like game that really brought me back on my feet. But at the time, I was watching Little Witch Academia a lot. Funnily enough, it took me until last year to actually finish that anime, even though I knew I loved it. I watched it in 2017. I freaking adored it, but I didn't finish it until last year. My favorite anime of all time, by the way. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen the cosplay photos of the Akko. But anyway, I was so obsessed with the anime that I decided to just draw an OC, like an OC, like original like character for a show. And I ended up liking that design so much that I decided I should just make her her own character and make a whole game about her. Just a small little game, just something quick. Maybe something for Kosa Horror Fest, which was coming up because school was coming up at that time. Maybe I'll make something like that. Just a small little game. Um, and I did not expect. And then I made that game, and it should have stopped there. It really should have stopped there. I was not expecting this to become a freaking trilogy, but this small game like got positive reception at the event I premiered it at. That it made me want to make a sequel to expand on a lot of stuff, and fuck, did I expand on it a lot. Like, this has gotten way bigger, even though this is like one of the probably the smallest video game franchise of all time. Like, it's the amount of people who know about it is pretty much in the double digits, but I did not expect even that. I was expecting it to just be smaller. I did not expect this to be like a whole trilogy that would actually like a lot has happened. It made me a lot better game designer. It made me expand my horizons a lot. It made me appreciate Kingdom Hearts 2 for once. Um, and like it got me to actually have contact with the Matt Poson from Way Forward. Like I was meeting him as like a fan of the Shantae series, and he's like, "Yo, your game looks cool." I'm like, "What?" So it's been and like a lot of like professors at college like referencing it when looking at my previous work. They're like, "Oh, you made a game. Oh, this looks good." I'm like, thanks. I mean, it's jank, but thanks. I still look back fondly on Abra, The Last Switch, particularly Rebirth. Not so much the original, but more so Rebirth. I still look very fondly on that project. It is the thing in life that I am most proud of, despite the fact that it's very jank, but. And there's a lot of things I would do better about it. Like, a lot of things I would do a lot better. Better. Especially the way the projectiles are coded. I would like, come on. Why would you put that in the update function? Just put in the fucking start function. Uh, if you wonder why the projectiles lag on lower end machines, that's why. Overall, I'm still very like proud of it. It's the only game I ever made that I made money off of. $1, but hey, that's still money that I haven't gone because I don't have a PayPal. But whatever. Um, and now I'm working on the third, maybe final game. In the development process, it should have taken probably like half a year, and it's now taking 3. Again, pandemic just completely took me off guard. Mental health down the drain. I am doing a lot better now. If you're worried, I am doing so much better now. I'm like, this year has been like a really good year for me. Like, it's not been a good year in general for the world, but for me personally, in my personal life, it's been pretty good. But um, yeah. Um, so plans going forward for the Abra series. Abra. So I want to maybe go into some plans about what I want to do with Grave of the Witches. So basically, what I can say is that the gameplay, all the important gameplay mechanics are all finished. All the gameplay mechanics are finished. It has an actual playable prototype that is pretty much a vertical slice of the game. The game's vertical slice is finished. All of it's done. There is one thing in there that's not going to be in the final game, but like pretty much all of it's done. It's more so just content that's needing to be added. Content, um, accessibility options, better graphics, um, but so far, like the game kind of went in like a lot of directions. Like most of these games went into some direction, but then I throw together a prototype and then it went another direction. And a lot of games are made like that. Like Crypto Necrodancer, GTA, a lot of games are made like that. Um, or they just throw get a prototype and then they see where the fun is and then build off that. Um, so originally this was kind of going to be like a horror game, like a 2D Resident Evil, and then became like a small open world really small single screen open world sandbox, like Animal Crossing means GTA, but on one screen, one like little tiny screen. But and the movie was saying that. But then when I noticed it reminded me a lot of Joust and like other early arcade games like that. I made a loop about made it more like an arcade game, and that was actually way better than what I initially thought. Like it, man, all these games are like ended up being something very like big and massive, and then they just end up being better as arcade games. But um, but I'm at a point where like I feel like I can just I do need some help though. I need some like um, background artists and like musicians. I might have to actually make some more sound effects my own because apparently the sound effects library that I use for other games are made by a company who does not want their sound effects in things with LGBTQ plus representation. It says no gay. It's like they literally their site says like no gay marriage in using the sound effects. I'm like, well, guess I gotta go somewhere else for my sound effects then. Because I do not stand for that. No. No, I literally, I do not stand for that. Literally, I have pronouns in my hat, and you think I'd stand for that? No. But, basically, I want to also try something weird. And I hope you guys could be on board for it, because I know this is kind of controversial. I kind of want to make it an early access game. I kind of do. Because a lot of the types of games that are similar to this do well with early access. Of course, I would have like a really like almost a complete game like out as like the first build, and then build upon that like maybe new levels, new modes, some new story content, new features, things like that, and then but have like the first version of the game standalone, and standalone is a great game, but like I kind of want to do early access because I feel like I have a very low attention span and I have a problem keeping up with long term projects. So if I could just keep it like have to work on it and release it and have that whole thing in short bursts, I feel like I would actually get a lot more stuff done. I still would want the game to be. I also want to experiment with monetization. The game will obviously be free, yes, but I also kind of want. I also kind of want to. That's easy. I kind of want to have a bit of monetization because here's the thing: I'm currently unemployed, and the Pokemon trading card game has been like eating away at my money. These aren't even rare cards. It's just cards I do for playing the game. But like, oh, there goes the psychic energy. But like, it's been eating away at my funds, and there's other stuff that I need like for living. You know, like maybe getting a car or buying my own groceries or paying taxes if I ever make a game that's actually premium. So like I might, and also, hiring more talent like voice actors or musicians or background artists, like things like that. Like, and also being able to go to events and things like that. And I need money for that. Like, I want to get a job this holiday season so I can get a little bit of money, mainly for that, also for Pokemon. But I would need at some point. I feel like I would need to do some monetization. And here's the thing: like, I'm feeling like in terms of my career, I want to make this more of a side thing, because for my main like going into a job as a game designer, I actually want to work in a tabletop industry and not the video game industry, because the tabletop industry seems like I suck at programming. Let's just say that. Let me get that out of the way. I fucking suck at programming. Like the technical side, I hate. I'm not good at it. Like literally computers, like technical stuff with the computers gives me a heart attack. I literally just start like throwing tantrums whenever my computer has a problem. Like it's that bad. Like the reason why I'm behind on like some of my projects in school when it comes to Union Engine is because we're doing a lot of advanced stuff that I haven't done before, and it makes me scared. So but like I know design is my strong suit. Like actually designing mechanics is my strong suit. Um, so I feel like making board games or card games, like not trading card games, that's like way above my level. Even though I'm very passionate about that, I feel like I can never get one out there. But expand like a standalone card game, maybe. Like I want to work in that industry because I feel like that would be where I would shine better. I'm still gonna make video games. Obviously, I like there are so many ideas I have for video games I want to get out there, and I'm still gonna work on them. Like I will not stop like making video games until Unity just makes the business decisions that just makes you go no, which frankly they're doing a good job at making me not want to support them. But um I feel like the problem is that I'm more passionate about video games than board games, but yet board games feels like it would be a better environment for me to work in. Um but video games is what I know best. Like I want to be more versed in the board game world because I play a shit ton of card games, like fuck ton of card games. But games, I mean, again, Pokemon stack. That's not even my deck. My deck is somewhere over there. But oh yeah, I have a tournament tomorrow. But essentially, I need to be more well versed in board games. If you have any recommendations in the comments, feel free. I'm getting code names and Sushi Go pretty soon. But like I play Exploding Kittens, Cards Against Humanity, like Boss Monster, the Disney Villainous game, which is okay. It's okay. I wish there was more counterplay in it though. Like that's where I want to go, but I don't. And maybe I'll make some card games that I can put on itch.io as like PDFs so you guys can play them too. Actually, there's one I've been designing for quite a while, almost as old as Abra, the whole Abra series in general. But that I'm not gonna stop making video games though. Don't worry. Like you will still see video games from me. It's more so like not as a job because honestly, the way that the video game industry treats people like me, I have a lot of I mean, it makes you scared because like I have a lot of targets on my back. I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm Native. I'm like 12% Native American, 12.5 actually. I'm, I'm pansexual. I'm non-binary. I have like really bad anxiety, and I'm anti-capitalist. So I have targets painted on my back if I go into that field. There's a few studios I could, if I were to work in the video game industry, I would only work for indie studio. So AAA studios, sorry, you're not getting work from me, ever. Just no, unionize, please. But that was a that was a huge freaking tangent. I apologize, but that's but yeah, I do. Back on Abra, I want to make it a bit. If I want to talk about where the game is at this point, what kind of game is it? Because people are kind of confused. So Abra Grave the Witches is, you know how Hades is considered a narrative-driven roguelike? I would consider Abra Grave of the Witches to be a narrative-driven arcade, narrative-driven old-school arcade game. It's an old-school arcade game from what you see in like the 80s or maybe like early 90s, where I would actually I'm more inspired by like modern arcade like games like Tony Hawk and stuff like that. But like Tony Hawk and Pac-Man Championship Edition and like Platinum and stuff like that. But like it's like the old school arcade game. You play for points and stuff like that, but it also has a focus on story. I can't say how exactly because I don't want to spoil it. Both the story itself and how it's told. But I kind of want to. I've seen a lot of people who don't like rogue because roguelikes to me have a very arcadey like. Sorry, my computer fell asleep. Um, like roguelikes have a very arcadey feel to me personally, and I know a lot of people who don't like that genre get really into Hades because of the way it uses it to tell its story. I kind of want Abra to be what to arcade games what Hades was to roguelike games. It's not going to be nearly as polished at setting. That's a huge freaking standard that I can't get to. Because I can't get to Supergiant's levels. Like, nowhere near as polished. But I want to basically tell a story in a genre that you wouldn't think would have much of a story. Um, it's basically like Abra, as people. Spoilers for the update for Last Witch Rebirth. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay. I'll put my hand to this. Oh, yeah. By the way, okay. Never mind. I was gonna say I put my hand on my screen, but I think it's too late. So basically, um, at the end you saw that Abra is like turning into a borb. She's turning into a borb, um, and so you're like, how is she gonna catch magic? I will. You can see that she has her wand in her mouth. Yeah, she can cast magic with it still. Her this whole as you saw, like she can still fight. But the whole thing is that the whole I will not reveal the plot detail. That basically the whole game is like her at her old school, Castery DU, which was mentioned in the first game. Her at that school, but it's left completely in ruins, and every night demons infest it, and she has to basically keep the demons in check by killing all of them, make sure they don't leak out throughout the entire night. I would say this game is kind of like if you took Joust or Balloon Fight or like the original arcade Mario Brothers and combined it with like the the like and combine it with like Five Nights at Freddy's and a little bit of like I would and like a little bit of like the text point system from Kingdom Hearts. It's a weird combination. That's sort of inspiration. Hades, Mario Bros. Arcade, Five Nights at Freddy's, and also Castlevania in terms of aesthetics. But yeah, it's a weird hodgepodge. It's like I feel like this game is gonna be very unique in terms of the way it plays and also the way it tells its story. Um, I also want it to be as accessible as possible. I have my friend Sai, who I've been talking to about. I've been talking to him about accessibility. You might know him. He's the guy who voiced Abra's inner voice, or at least the Reflections voice uh, in the original Abra Last Witch. It was the chapter 3. I'm if I'm remembering. Yeah, in the um, Rebirth, it's chapter 5. He voiced. It was before he transitioned, but yeah, I've been talking to him a lot. We're still good friends to this day, and I've been talking to a lot because he actually has color blindness and his also I don't know what it is, but a condition with his hand, which made him quit animation sadly. But so I've been having him as like a consultant on like what I could do for accessibility because accessibility is very clear. I'm someone who benefits from accessibility because I'm autistic, and that gives me a bit of photosensitivity. So when I'm playing a game with really bright flashing lights, it hurts my eyes and I hate it and I want to die. Like every time I get like there's a certain power up in Doom 64 that when I'm playing it, it just flashes and I have to stop in place before it wait for it to go away because there's no way to turn that off any options, and I want to prevent stuff like that. And that shit's annoying. Like I remember playing Fires of Oz, which was like an old game I made for high school, and that game actually did win a few awards, but that game hurts my eyes looking back. Oh my god, why did I think that was okay? I had to put a seizure warning on the kiosk. It was that bad. Um, but but basically, that's what it is. It's a narrative driven. It's a narrative driven. Um, Narrative driven arcade game, um, with really big really focusing on accessibility, and I want to experiment with it being early access. I'm planning on at least the first build of the game to release in October. I was actually hoping Halloween, even though Halloween was a few days ago when I'm recording this, but I feel like that would give me enough time to make something polished for a first build, while something polished for a first build, while also being seasoned, because I want this game to be spooky. I want this game to be spooky. Um, let's see. I just want to one last thing before I head out. Um, I just want to say thank you for the few people who've been like sticking by me and like been excited for my works. I want to thank a lot of my friends and who I've also met through this journey. I've met a lot of people through doing this. Um, like I have one of the smallest platforms ever, but like it's one I never thought I would get one at all. So just want to say thank you guys. Um, I just realized this video file is now over 2 GB large, so I think I need to get out of Dodge. So thank you for sticking with me for this 5 years, um, and hope you're looking forward to Abra Grave Witches and everything Abra related is coming afterwards. Um, and you can follow me on Instagram and for some updates. I'll be updating on there now because Twitter, as I'm recording this, Twitter's actually going away. So yeah, thank you, and have a good night. Happy 5 years, Abra. Happy 5 years.